Hello. Now, wait a minute. Something weird happened to my internet. I have no idea why it went out. Listen here. I was babbling down and didn't know it went out. Part two, continuation of part one. Let me check the volume, the audio again. Ain't that something? Hmm, honey. Let me check my volume here. Okay. Hello. Okay. It went out. Part two, continuation of part one. Okay, I'll do that. Let me check the volume, the audio. Okay, I'm on a different title now, so let me go back to my music. Now I have no idea what happened that it cut off on me. I have no idea why. But I was just chatting down, honey. Listen. That's why I always gotta check the audio. And I was not paying attention to my audio as I was speaking. But listen, let me get back on topic. So when it cut off, I was telling you guys about um it cut off when I was telling you about unity equals power. Okay. Let me see. I think I spoke about mm-mm-mm. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so I have an idea where I left off. Interesting. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on this stream to make sure it don't go out again. So I left off on talking about scripture, how unity equals power, and how they were organized and categorized to the T when God delivered the Israelites out of captivity, out of slavery into Mount Zion, freedom. Okay. So I was speaking on that. And so um I don't know if you guys heard me speak about FBA people that slip by $1 of some coins. They have some people on here who we have to look out for. Give me a second. Let me see if I spoke on it. Yeah, I was trying to find out where I left off at. Not left off, but the stream dropped. So I was trying to find out, get back to that. particular topic that I was talking about. So what was I talking about? I talked about playing the fence, how they got FBA people that's on here. Oh, I'm FBA, I'm FBA. Then they Pan African. I'm a Pan African, Pan African. And I was saying how we have to keep our eyes open, wide open. And I wanted to share with you some things, some signs that you can pick up of a person that's pretending to be FBA. And then I'm gonna talk about this other topic that I came in on because this is a whole nother stream that I was gonna do, but I'll talk about it since I opened up the stream, okay? So let me give you some signs. Some signs when you are speaking to um, a Black immigrant cosplaying Black American, aka also known as Foundational Black Americans, aka American descendants of slaves. Okay, let me give you some pointers to spy. So I think I got about 6 of them I can pinpoint to you. All right. The first sign is when they tell you, when they push something like, when you hear a Black American, a person that claims to be a Black American, or a foundational Black American or American descendant of slaves, and you hear them talking and they really have little concern about the history of slavery in this country. They they want to push past slavery. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to push it off the table. They don't want to address it. They say that it's the past. And they'll say something like this: hey man, look, listen, y'all keep talking about slavery. You stuck on slavery. You need to move on. I'm tired of talking about slavery. That's the telltale sign that they are indeed an immigrant cosplaying Black American. That's a number one telltale sign. They do not identify or have any type of feelings about the slavery that took place in this country because it's not their people. They came way after slavery. They came way after the foundations was laid out. The hard work was done. The foundations was laid out. We didn't push for all kind of civil rights and everything. Here they come. And now they are pretending to be us, and we don't know how to quite identify them because some of them can fit in with us. They make themselves look like us. They they use our hoodology, they call it. They use our colloquial dialect. A colloquial dialect is what's spoken among a certain culture of people. They use our colloquial dialect that they didn't name our colloquial dialect hoodology. They didn't gave our colloquial dialect what we speak among each other, that other people may not know what we're saying unless you're a part of our culture. It's called colloquial dialect. Every group, every race of people on the earth have a colloquial dialect. If I go with a friend of mine to I don't care who they are, it can be white people. If I go in a white people group, they're gonna be saying some things that I don't know what they're talking about because that's their colloquial dialect. Only they know what they're talking about. Is somebody gonna have to inform me on what the heck is being talked about? Because I don't know what that means. Okay, and some people's colloquial dialect, cultural talk, what you hear might not mean what you actually believe it means. It might mean the opposite. You understand what I'm saying? So that's called colloquial dialect. But they have the nerve to name our colloquial dialect. We call it Ebonics, a lot of people in America. They have called our colloquial dialect hoodology. I'm gonna teach you how to speak hoodology. This is what the Africans tell the other Africans. I'm gonna teach you how to speak the American hoodology. I say, well, oh my goodness. Listen, so that's a telltale sign. Number one, let me write that down. I'm gonna tell you number one. They they have no connection, no feelings about the slavery that took place in this country. They do not identify with slavery because they do not come from slave descendants. Okay? They come from Africa. They don't come from slave descendants. They don't identify with that slavery stuff. We who come from slave descendants, DOS, around the world, DOS meaning descendants of slaves around the world, we identify with slavery. We identify what happened to our people. We seek restitution because of what happened to our people. We never forget what happened to our people in those countries that our people were sold to and how they were treated. It was awful. But Africans cannot relate to that. The ones born and raised in America in particular, and they grow up here, they can't relate to that. They'll be among us. This is the telltale sign of when you're talking to a Black immigrant cosplaying Black Americans. They do not identify with slavery. They would tell you, I don't want to talk about that. Even Black immigrants from the Caribbeans and other places that come to America, they do not identify with American slavery because it was not their ancestors. They couldn't care less. It was not their ancestors, so they do not identify with it. You'll be talking because you accepted them into your ethnic group as one of you, and you're talking about restitution for slavery and how they did the slaves and all of that. And the people like, look, I'm tired of talking about this slavery stuff. I don't want to talk about it no more. That's the number one telltale sign that they are cosplaying Black American, but they really are Black immigrant. Okay? They do not identify with slavery in this country. They do not care about restitution or reparations in this country. They came here when everything was laid out, founded, built, when laws was established. We had to fight for all of that. A lot of our people were lynched. They don't care anything about that. The Africans come over here and say, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of slaves. Lord have mercy. They come over here and say things like that. Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of slaves. Y'all the slave children. See, they don't identify. And it took a minute for people to understand. I think a lot of people understanding now that these people don't have the same mindset as us. But at least we have come to understand what's going on. Black immigrants from Caribbean and all of that, they don't have the same mindset as well because this is not their people that went through these things in this country. Now, if we was to say something bad about their people where slavery happened, they wouldn't appreciate it. Okay. Let's move on to the next telltale sign of a Black immigrant pretending to be, cosplaying Black American. The next telltale sign is they always hype up their own people. They try to squeeze in every conversation. We talking about Black American excellence. Excellent. Here they're gonna try to squeeze in their people. Well, Michael, Stokely Carmichael was the leader of, and he brought out the term Black Power, lies and lies. He brought out the term Black Power. No, he popularized it. No, he didn't lead any goddamn on thing. He lashed on, partook in Black civil rights movements, lashed on, joined. Okay, there's a difference. There was others that did the same, lashed on and joined, like Harry Belafonte. They would bring up Marcus Garvey. They would bring up these people came to America, we already had movements and all that stuff happening and booming way before they showed up on the scene. You understand what I'm saying? And I want you to know something about the Marcus Garvey. A lot of Black Americans did not support him. Don't never make them let you think that all Black Americans supported Marcus Garvey. Unfortunately, they did not. A lot of the brothers that was had movements already established and happenings already established concerning Black freedom fighting and Black resistance and all of that, like W.E.B. Du Bois, they did not agree with him. They claimed that something was wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? Something was off about him. And so a lot of them, they did not mess with him. A lot of the people did not support moving to Africa. Trust me, a lot of them did not support it. Okay? Umar Johnson is the new form of Marcus Garvey. It was something like that. You had some people that supported him and a many that just ignored him. But don't let them come and play on our history as though all Black Americans was down with going to Africa. That's not true. Okay? And so a lot of the Black immigrants that came here and latched on to our movements and civil rights movements and politics and all of that, they had to break away eventually from Black American movements because their ideology was quite different. It was so different from Black American mindset. Because over here, where things happen to our people, we identified with the people that was enslaved here, our ancestors and stuff like that. We identify with all that. When those immigrants that came here, they didn't identify with our people. Remember, if they have no connection to the people, you're going to be able to sense it that this is a Black immigrant cosplaying Black American because they have no connection to the people, to our ancestors. When they do talk about our ancestors, it be in the most disrespectful way. That's another telltale sign. They disrespect our ancestors. They speak on our ancestors as though they are one of us, and they speak very negatively of our ancestors. They say the most terrible things, try to make them look dumb and stupid. And that's because they are not of our ethnic group. Okay? They're not of our ethnicity. That's another telltale sign. They disrespect our ancestors. They disrespect the the enslavement, the harsh enslavement and lynchings and oppression that our people suffered in this land. They dismiss it from the table as though it never happened and tell us we should just pretend it never happened and move on. So one and two, they dismiss the struggles of our people in this country, slavery, lynchings, all kinds of terrible laws that the people went through in this country, that our people went through in this country. They disrespect our ancestors by saying the most awful things about them. Let's get into number three. What else do they do? Another telltale sign. Give me a second. Yeah, things you gotta listen to the speech, baby. You'll pick it up real quick. You're just a Black immigrant cosplaying Black up there. Okay, another telltale sign. Let me find it. They do find us to be lazy. They think that we are lazy. They truly believe that. And that we don't have any type of, even though when they come here, they see a bunch of successful Black people, they look at the non-successful Black people, and I hear this all the time. People bring this out. They look at the non-successful Black people, probably because they're living in a very bad neighborhood, likely, and they consider us all to be of that sector. When we know in this country, it's different brackets of income, right? Even amongst Black people, it's different brackets of income. You got poverty level, you got middle class level, and then you got which is considered, rich. Okay, we have all different income brackets among our people in our ethnic group. But when they come here and they end up living in a projects, how Jay-Z say projects, no, he say projects. They end up living in a project somewhere with roaches and all that kind of stuff. That's where they put them. They say they put us in a project. Right. What you want? A luxury house? So they put them in a project, getting food stamps and all that kind of stuff like that. And they start assuming that that's all of us is, you know, the representation. The poor is the representation. Those in poverty is the representation of all Black Americans' income levels, which we know that's stupid and it's dumb and it's lies. Okay. So they try to make us out to be lazy bums that live in a land of opportunity and never ever have gotten off our ass to take advantage of opportunities, when in fact every step they take in this country was paved by foundational Black Americans. They are so fucking dumb. Ugh, I hate talking about this because like, wake up to reality. You wouldn't even be over here if it wasn't for us. But anyways, people, that's another telltale sign. Number three, they carry on the stereotype that Black Americans are lazy. They don't acknowledge our rising college graduates. Oh yeah, they say all of our children is out here with their pants sagging, and all of them, girl, they got some nerve. They delusional as heck. That's what that is, straight delusional. All right, so um, they don't understand redlining, all that stuff that we had to go through to get housing, to be able to move out of the projects and get into housing in neighborhoods. They know nothing about these struggles. So see, a Black immigrant ain't gonna have knowledge of these struggles, and they're not gonna acknowledge it. Even if they do, they dismissive of everything about our true culture. That's how you will know who they are. While they sitting up there cosplaying us. And then let me go into the gender banging thing. They brought their bad behavior to America in our ethnic group. The women, I read a while back, the women of Africa who were mutilated and disrespected in all kinds of ways and stuff. And those women over there in the Caribs who be abused and stuff like that, because they don't really have laws to protect women, like talking about it overseas in different places. And when they came to America, they had protection. That's because white women and Black women over here fought for women's rights and protection. You ungrateful. Women had to fight for that in this country, for protection and laws to be able to do the things that we're able to do. And so they came to America, still very angry at their people. And they began to gender bang and say Black men, group our men with their men, and say Black men are this, that, and that. They're terrible. They're this, they're that. See, we didn't have that kind of issue before they came in the 60s and 50s and all of that. We were loving on each other. We had no kind of issues where we were hating on each other and stuff like that. That stuff didn't exist among us. They brought it here. And then they got, don't talk about when social media became available. They took it out. Their women came even harder. Yeah, Black men is, they're this, they're that. And then their men popped up. The black immigrant men pretending, cosplaying black American, they popped up. Oh, I hate black women. And all the while, that black term describes us foundational black Americans. And here they have came and ruined our community with gender banging. It came directly from immigrants. Man, I'm going to get me a sister from Africa, man. Right, because you're born in America, but you're really an African. You're a first generation African. Right. I can see why you would want to go over there and get one of them. You're an African person. Oh, you going to the island? Yeah, man, the island sisters, man. The Caribbean women is they the bomb, man. Yeah, right. Because you're first generation Caribbean. I can understand why you would say, but why are you cosplaying as a Black American while you're saying it? And so I had to examine this for a minute, y'all. I stepped up and I was like, wait a minute, I heard that the FBA brothers is going after Africans and Caribbeans and stuff. They don't want to have nothing to do with the FBA Foundation of Black American Women, which I think is crazy. They looking for these foreign women. And when I looked around the community, I never saw a Foundation of Black American man with an African woman yet. Not to this day. I'm like, but I thought they say, oh shit, that's cosplaying. That's immigrants cosplaying Black Americans. Going around masquerading like a Black American, talking about he find African women to be better, but he's really African. Lord have mercy. I looked around, I'm like, well, where the brothers at with the Caribbean sisters? Then they got a lot of Caribbean sisters, right? Nope. That's rare. That's also rare. And I'm trying to pinpoint to you the signs of immigrants cosplaying Black American men, pushing on social media. Oh yeah, man, the African women are better. All the Black brothers is going to Africa to get wives. No, you're a first generation African pretending to be a Black American man, pushing that. They had a lady told me one time, that's why your men don't want you. I was like, what the fuck? What? Excuse me. Are you telling me they want you over us? Girl, what kind of sick mind they got? What they moving on? So I started looking into it. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't see no brothers with the African ladies for them to be popping off like that. Child. Hmm. Same thing with the Caribbean. That's a telltale sign, though. Another telltale sign. They've come into our community and put down foundational Black American women while they promote their own women in disguise as a Black American man. When I say Black American man, a foundational Black American man, AKA Black American again, because if you're not foundational Black American, you're not a Black American. It's the same people. So when you hear so-called Black American men, they cosplaying Black American men, a telltale sign of an immigrant cosplaying Black American men, he will promote his women. Let me get this commercial off. He will promote his women in our community. And put down FBA women, foundational Black American women. I'm going to give me a sister. Well, the African immigrants don't talk like that. That's born. They'll be like, yeah, it's better to find a wife in Africa. Some craziness. That's how you know that's an immigrant cosplaying a Black American man. I'm going to give me a sister from the Caribbean, man. She from Jamaica, man. Yeah, they better. Yeah, because you're a Jamaican cosplaying Black American men. All right, that's a telltale sign. All right, they're gonna put down FBA women and uplift their women. That's a telltale sign that they are not a foundational Black American man. They are an immigrant cosplaying Black American men. Okay, let's switch that around. Same thing for the women. They come in, the Caribbean women and the African women, they get on these social media sites as well, and they push out that real anger and hatred towards their men because they had been abused so heavily back in their homelands. They wasn't able to talk back and stand up and defend themselves back there because they had no protection. So when they come here to America and they have that protection, they they give it to them. They sock it to them. They get on the airwaves and they begin to express how much they don't like Black men. But who they're really talking to is the immigrant, their fellow immigrant brothers. Yeah, because a lot of foundational Black American men are not with these women. They get on the airwaves and talk about how bad Black men are, like the Somalian chick did, right? Black men is, right? You gotta listen. When you hear them gender bangers, always know that's not how a foundational Black American. Now, unfortunately, they have gotten some of our people caught up in the mix. They fell for the okie doke, which these people was promoting in our community, gender banging. They brought that to our community, and some of our people fell into it, and that's a sad thing. Our people more on the tip of child support gender banging. When you hear that, you can assume that that's likely a Black foundational Black American man who, he getting a big chunk of money out of his out of his check. He has to pay. I didn't heard some of them paying 2,500 as a truck driver. That's a lot of money out your check, right? And they get on here and vent. And if they have people on here that's saying the things that validate them and make them feel like they right and all of that, they get on here and vent and support because that person is speaking from their point of view of anger. Now you might have some of our brothers that do that, but we never really was a classless people like that to be on open airwaves. That's really not us. We let these people come in and just ransack our ethnicity and cultural ethnicity decency. But anyways, another telltale sign is them coming, and the minute you hear that gender banging, just know that that's not FBA. It came from Black immigrants. Came from Black immigrants. Let's move along. So another telltale sign. Let's say this one here. Definitely a telltale sign. They love them some America, baby. Let me tell you something. Baby, they so thankful to be here in America. They love them some America, okay? Listen, they come here and they be looking at us like, who you think you are to be asking for reparations and restitutions? Everybody was enslaved before around the world. Who do you think you are? That's a telltale sign they're immigrant, cosplaying Black American. They don't, they have no connection to the people once again. So they don't feel like the our lineage of people deserve any type of restitution for what happened to our people in this country. Even a lot of our closer people than way back in slavery, because a lot of them was lynched. This was after slavery, lynchings and all of that stuff continued on. They don't think we deserve reparations. because they can't identify with our lineage. Even though they be trying to pretend to be us, they just can't identify with the lineage. They don't have our mindset because they can't connect. They can't identify with the lineage. So you will hear them say stuff like, I don't support no reparations. And if we do get reparations, all of us, all DOS should get reparations from America. DOS meaning descendants of slaves that come from other countries too. Well, we should all get it. That's a telltale sign that they're Black immigrant cosplaying Black American. And the women do it too, not just men. Many of them cosplay Black American. Okay? But there's telltale signs to listen to. Number one, they cannot connect to the people because they came after the struggles. They came after a lot of terrible things. Foundations and everything was laid, and wars were fought, unfair wars were fought. People lynched, killed, enslaved, just awful things. They came after all of that. So they cannot connect with the people of the land. They can pretend, but once they get the yap in their mouth, you can hear it within. They're not one of us. They have no love. They have no connection. It's not there. We hear it. They always sliding their people in. Well, you know, the Caribbean, Michael, what about Harry Belafonte? Oh, do you guys know about what's her name was? Do you guys know about Shirley Chisholm? And people like, who is that? Oh yeah, she's Caribbean. Oh, she was the first one to run. Telltale sign. They want to insert their people in there. But baby, that's all after the struggle. The foundations were laid by then. They cannot connect to us. So when they get the yap in their mouth, if you listen closely, the telltale signs are there. They heart. You know, the scriptures say from a man's mouth, what comes from a man's mouth proceeds directly from his heart. Their heart is for their people. So when they get the yapping, I tell you, they're going to speak on behalf of lifting their own people up. I'm trying to tell you something. You got to listen to what they're saying. The telltale sign is there. Some of them will say they FBA foundational Black Americans, but I tell you, they will throw the stone on top of foundational Black Americans. Talk about us like dirty dogs, but all the while they claiming our identity. You see how cuckoo they are, right? Y'all can cuckoo birds to the core. Scary and creepy. Ooh, creepy. All right. So all of what I'm pinpointing, it all leads back to the people. They cannot connect to the people, the struggle of this land, because they came after it was all done. After it was all done, after we had fought unfair wars and laid foundations and built stuff and invented stuff and all of that, they cannot connect to it. Matter of fact, they come and try to tear it down, try to erase our culture. The nerds try to come and tell us who we are, the disrespect. There's a white guy channel. He wants to put his 2 cents in, baby, and he talks about Black Americans. Ooh, I'm gonna share this with y'all. I'm gonna let you hear what he had to say, y'all, to you immigrants. Because some of them know the true history and they know how Black America built this country. How Black America, ooh, they know, ooh, this country wouldn't be what it is without us. What are you talking about? You don't understand why we don't have businesses and stuff. I know, because you don't understand the hand of oppression in this country that hates us because we always fight back. You don't understand your existence here because you were meant to be used against us as cheap labor that we did not want to accept. So they brought you in. Oh, them niggas gonna act like they don't want to take this. Well, we're gonna show them a little something, something. We're gonna bring in the immigrants. But see, it backfired. You flooded the country, they lost control. You flooded the country, and now you're damn near taking over each state. You have no respect for their presidents anymore. It backfired. And now they are trying to clean it up. Hmm. Let's get into another telltale sign. People don't like the truth though. When you speak truth to lies, baby, they don't like the truth, girl. So, um, what's another telltale signs besides gender banging, spreading gender banging in our community? Oh, I was telling you they love them some America. Like they think the world of America. They like, oh my gosh, this Atlanta opportunity. You can't get no better than this. And blase, blase, they love it, honey. They just don't want to talk about no slavery, no nothing, because of course, like I said, they have no connection to the people, the struggles. They came after everything was done, said and done. So they have no connection. So they in love with America. They gonna talk, oh, I love it. I love it. It's the best thing ever. But let a war break out, watch their ass run back home real fast. You know, they was up there beefing with the foundational Black Americans, and they were like, well, at least if S do hit the fan, we have somewhere to go back to. What you mean? Like, what you talking about if something hit the fan? If hit the fan, you got somewhere to, what you talking about? Like a war? Oh, that's what they did in that other country, that war with Russia. The people say, y'all stay and help us, because I think they give free education over there. You can get educated for free. Like you can get a medical degree for free and all that. And they were over there mooching off the system, getting free education or whatever. And as soon as the war broke out, they fled. The people was like, y'all stay and fight with us, man. Come on. And they were like, fight for you? Are you crazy? And they fled the scene. So what are they talking about when the S hit the fan? They got somewhere to go. What S are you talking about? Like a war breakout or something like that? You're gonna flee. I see. But for now, they love them some America. You know what I'm saying? They don't care anything about reparations, what happened in this country, about foundational Black Americans, um, them rectifying the government acknowledging and rectifying what took place during slavery time, our ancestors working for free labor, and yet we did not benefit from it at all in this country. Okay, the Black immigrants care nothing about that. All right, they don't acknowledge that. That's another telltale sign. All right. They have no connection to the people. That's what it all leads back to. They have no connection to the people because they came after all the struggles, all the foundations were laid, all that. They came at a time where they just benefiting. Okay. Let's roll on to another telltale sign. They lie about everything. They lie about their identity. They pretend to be Black Americans to hide up under, they don't want to be seen as immigrant. They pretend to be Black Americans so that they can get the benefits of being a Black American in this country. You understand what I'm saying? It can benefit them to be Black Americans sometimes and sometimes not, and they jump in and out of it. Okay, so they lie about their true identity, pretending, cosplaying. They pretend to be Black Americans. Okay, um, they lie about their education, their professions back home. A lot of them, they say they come here. Well, they say they come from luxury style, rich lifestyles from their countries. When they come from a rich part of Africa, and they have homes and mansions, and they live very, lovely in their country. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, why the F you came here? Why would you come here and drive a cab then? Or Uber if you live like that back in your country? All right. And some of them lie about their profession, their degrees. They say they were doctors and all type of lawyers and stuff when they get here to America. They are very professional um, liars, and they know how to put together fake documents to promote themselves as such. Like they had the big nursing scam of fake nurses from, I think it was Nigeria, I'm not quite sure, but they know how to put together false documents and false everything from their countries, and you know they carry this, they promote lies pretty much to try to get by. Okay, I think that this is known in a lot of different African countries that people do lie about their professions and lifestyles back in their homeland. Okay. All right. So I'm talking to FBA people, Foundational Black Americans. I want you to be aware of some things. Okay. So moving along, they lie about, here's what I want you to understand this right here very deeply. They lie about their family structures being full of, they got so much, they got morals and integrity, and they just very nice, non-confrontational type of people, right? They try to label the Asians like this as well, but there's no such thing as perfect people or perfect persons on the earth. So you're full of crap. But they lie about their families having this so-called, they have family structures that's intact in Africa where they marry first. They don't fornicate, y'all. They don't fornicate now. They gotta be married first. And we know that's not true, right? We smart enough to know that's not true. Everybody is not married first. We know that many of them don't get married. We know that many of them have what they call relationships in America, where it's not formally documented in a government system. Not concubine marriage, but I call it concubine marriage, but it's common law marriage. Yeah, that's it. Common law marriage. They have a lot of common law even before our people. Our people was married heavily before they rolled in and all that kind of stuff, and the epidemic, and they pushed in our community, all that. Our people was doing it the right way. But listen, over in Africa, they've been doing it this way where they did not have family structures. They were just getting together, making children together. Now, the way they say they have family structure, they don't. They just have tribal structure, meaning that they consider themselves one big family. A tribe of people consider themselves, that's what they call family. But really, a lot of the parents abandon their children and go to other countries to so called make a living. They abandon their children. They don't grow up, their children don't grow up with them. The fathers abandon the children and the families. They go elsewhere abroad in the world and start new families as well, which is terrible. So somebody's going to be neglected. Either it's going to be the new family or the family in Africa, because one man can't afford to take care of all of those people. So somebody's going to be neglected. Okay? And it won't be the ones that he's living abroad with. So it's a lot of neglect, a lot of abandonment issues. Yeah, it's a lot of different single mothers. It's a lot of that going on. So when they're talking about they have these family structures, it's a bunch of lies. Indeed, it's lies. There's many kids left who are in orphans, unfortunately, without parents at all. We know this about Africa. That's why I don't know why they be lying about it. Like they'll come in. I think they got to put on a front to, to make themselves look good, I guess. I think that's what it's about. Just trying to make themselves look good. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, just realize in actuality, these people, they do some disgusting things in their country. They sell their daughters as child brides. Is they selling their daughters into sex slavery as child brides. The sons into as child soldiers. They promote them to be child soldiers so they can have food to eat, and be taken care of and have a brotherhood. They promote that. They There's a lot of prostitution, a lot of kidnapping, a lot of them, doing some awful things to each other, like sacrificing each other to pagans and think cannibalism, hunting each other and eating each other, and just it's a lot of terrible things going on. That's why I'm like, how can you be online? It's a great culture there. They don't have no protection for women. The women, they have no protection for women at all. So, it's a lot of things that goes on in their countries that they cannot. If Black America just really wanted to feed it to them, they can bring up cannibalism and a grape system there and all of this stuff. How they treat women horrible. All of these things Black America could bring up. But I think Black America is being really nice, because if we want to just shut them down, we can bring this up. How Africa is full of orphans, abandonment issues, single mother issues, cannibalism, and all that, hunting each other and eating each other and sacrificing each other to pagan gods and all that kind of stuff, drinking children's blood and just all kind of wickedness. But Black America hold back from that. They don't do that. They don't do that, which I don't think is necessary to do. You know why? Because when you understand and you know the truth about them, even though they lie about who they are, when you know the truth about them, it's no need to argue with people of such. It's no need to argue. Matter of fact, if you argue with people of such, something's wrong with you in that case. Because when you know the truth about them, it's like, yeah, you're crazy. I don't want to argue with you because I really know who you are already. So move along. And that's it. But whatever, to each his own. But I don't find it, um, you know how they say, pick your battles? Yeah, I don't find it worth the battle, because when people lie into your face and you know the truth, though, you just move along. All right, moving along from that right there. Um, Let me give you one more. They pretend that they are everything. They pretend that they got it going on to the fullest. Like they gods and stuff. Like, all that voodoo stuff and all that stuff. They pretend like they got it going on to the fullest. But check this out. When you look at where they're from, they have no basic level of necessities established for themselves. They're not even orderly, let alone having sewer systems and whatever else needed to maintain a clean environment. They don't even have, they're not orderly in their mindset and their behavior as well. They don't know how to form a line, is what I'm saying. They're extremely loud, overly loud, and dramatic. And they love to play the victim. Y'all should know this by now. They would say some craziness and then play the victim. I call that ratchet. Now that's ratchet. All right, that's what I would call ratchet. So they pretend that they highly the bomb. They everything. They would everybody come from, but yet they don't. They lack basic necessities. They lack basic understanding of being orderly. And you haven't seen African countries where they just be scattered, they just be moving about like there's no order. Loudness and being over dramatic, demanding to the fullest. When they talk to you like you're their child. They're talking at you. I mean, grown men talking to other grown men like they're children. I mean, come on, that ain't something I would want to live in Africa and deal with every day. That's not cool. That's crazy to me. But once again, they pretending that they're gods and everything we invented and did in this America is because of them. What? Make that hold on, make it make sense. Everything we did in America, invented and everything, all that is because of you. But yet when we look at your country, you have your own country over there. When we look at your countries, it's the way it is. Come on now. That's a form of delusion. Delusion. And that's why I say again, they're not to be entertained. Because when you know who you're entertaining, even though they lying to you, well, they're not lying to you, they're lying to your face, but you know the truth. At this point, you don't entertain such a person. They believe their own lies. And that's not, I don't think it's a wise battle to choose. I think somebody who do stuff like that is pure crazy. Respectfully, I think that's a crazy person. Okay. All right. So, that's another telltale sign. They lie about who they are, even though you know who they truly are. They don't have any family structure. They don't come from luxury lifestyles in Africa and all of those stuff. And they do some crazy stuff in their countries. And a lot of them do not want to go back home to their countries. And I can clearly understand why they don't want to go back to Africa. I can understand that. Okay. And another reason I can understand why the desire for Black America to come to their countries is because they really truly admire us. Ain't that a blimp? Super jealous. They women dressing like us, trying to look like us. Accused, they say that we make y'all look pretty. You can't make nobody look pretty, sweetheart. We already beautiful women to the core. You just stitch braids in our hair. That's all. You can't make us look pretty. You copy us to make yourself look pretty. Telling us we jealous of them while you looking like dressing like us. Lord of have mercy. That's what I'm talking about, the foolery of it all. All right, moving on. Let's touch up on another point about these people. They are I had talked about how they disrespectful to our ancestors. Okay. I think I named about 9 of them, or maybe 10. I think I'm on number 10. Let's say they want to be better than Black Americans. That's a telltale sign. Anytime they are very, very tribal. Okay. That's another telltale sign. This gonna be the last one. They extremely tribal. And let me tell you something. They will do anything it takes to make us understand that they're better than us once again. That's a telltale sign. Okay, so the tribal mindedness is when you hear that, oh, who got the best rice? A rice off. When you hear Jollof, Senegal Jollof rice is better than jambalaya. What? What are you talking about? What's Jollof rice? That's what the Black Americans. What's Jollof rice? Rice with tomato sauce and whatever. Yeah, yeah. It's the base of jambalaya rice. Jambalaya rice don't have tomato paste or nothing. What are you talking about? Well, jollof rice is better. That's that tribal stuff. I heard a panel. Well, Black Americans, Africans braid hair better than Black Americans. What? Who said that? Braiding is braiding. What the heck? Who said something stupid like that? Well, Black Americans braid, Africans braid better. This is what they do all day. They just challenge each other. It's tribalness. And they say this is mainly the Nigerians. All you hear from them is constantly them trying to be better than Black Americans. They want to highlight they have degrees and say that there's more Nigerian doctors than Black American doctors. Oh my MF and goodness. Whew, we wouldn't even be able to tell because we still working out delineating, getting our numbers away from you guys because you're mixed in with our numbers. The statistics. I told you statistics. I did prior I had previous videos that I talked about statistics not being correct when it comes to it's not a form of truthfulness because it's based on race and not ethnic group. Even though I can tell you it's a lot of Black American young people graduating by very large numbers. They'll tell you, no, that's Black immigrants. Oh, no, but no. So I have been to many graduations and have seen my people graduating in high numbers. But they will root and say, no, that's our people. None of our people are on welfare or nothing like that. But you go into communities and look and you see nothing but them on welfare and projects and low income housing and all of that stuff. It's them. But once again, their numbers are mixed in with our numbers. The statistics is based on race, period, not different ethnic groups. So it is good for us to delineate so that we can come up from under that. Okay. But they constantly challenge us because they are tribal minded. And that's why they constantly challenge us. Okay. They want to be better than us. They even say things like, we slave children. Some of them will say we slaves, which a lot of us today were not enslaved. Our ancestors were your African ancestors. Um, and they will call us slave children. Anything to try to put us down and make us feel less than. And most importantly, they actually try to say that everything we do is because of them. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, make it make sense. You got your own country over there and you can't even seem to do anything with it. You begging for us to come to your country and fix it up for you and use us to figure, like, let's get the slave children to come over there and fix it up for us, and then we can run them back to America or something. Like, really? Come on now. But anyways, that was number 10. I think I did 10 of them. All of it leads back to you'll be able to pinpoint these people because they don't identify with the struggle of our people in this land. They don't identify to it. Enslavement, slavery. They don't identify lynching, Jim Crow happenings, and the hand of oppression. They don't see what we see. They came here after everything was fought for, paved, and all that. They don't understand that the white hand of oppression is against Black American people because we stand up for ourselves. They don't understand what's going on here. We do. They don't. That's another way you can identify who they are. They have no understanding of what's going on here. Okay. Those Black immigrants that's in politics and all that kind of stuff, they don't have any respect for the ancestors. They have no they cannot identify with what happened before they came here. And that's why they should not ever be representing foundational Black Americans in this country. But we're gonna get there. Trust and know. we are definitely going to get to the point where we are fully delineated. That's definitely going to come about. All right. So I'm very glad that we're not tribal minded people because we would be even, it would be even more crazy for us. We may be, regional, but we still know how to come together as one. We still understand that we are one people, even though we different regions of the country. We still understand we are one. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't need to fuss with people that's claiming that they built America. We know that's not true. We don't need to argue with people that claim that they have families that's intact, they come from luxury lifestyles back home when we know that ain't true. We can pull up a video real quick and be like, this what you talking about? This right here? Hold on, let's go to this other country. You talking about this right here? Just shitting all up in public and stuff. You talking about this right here? That's luxury? Okay. To you, that's luxury? Okay, okay. Well, over here, I can see why you praising white America then, because if that's luxury to you, whew, clutch my pearls. Listen, we don't need to argue with people that come over here and talk about they're more educated than Black Americans when Black Americans been getting degrees for I don't know how long, way before they came. Way before they came. We don't need to argue with people about how much morals and integrity and how upright they are versus us when all they do is lie about who they are. Just lie, lie, lie. Got a lot of scamming going on left to the right, to the right, to the left, north, south, east, west, just scamming, scamming, and scamming galore. Why am I going to go back and forth with such people? We don't need to argue with people that claim they're progressing while we stuck in a rut. Oh no, babe, we're not stuck in a rut. We see what's going on. We at a halt for sure. But things always change. Tables always turn, baby. Because we opt out when they say we want you to be our cheap labor force. We want you niggas to work for these $2 when it's actually a $26 an hour job. And we opt out. And they brought you in. And now the new sheriff in town say, oh no, it's too many of y'all. This has gotten out of hands. Time to go. Pack up. And now you're having a fit because you don't want to go back to where you came from. If you call that progress and whatever, they talk about how they built America, Black Americans didn't. Whatever. We all know it's lies. They talk about how they influenced the world. Everybody wants to be a part of them, a part of Africa. Who? That's a lie. That's paying Africans telling people to promoting that. But nobody wants to be African. Nobody wants to be African. Nobody. Africans don't want to be Africans. We know this to be true. Because if they did, they would be proud. They would pack up and go home. We wouldn't even have to be looking like go home. They would pack up and go home. They wouldn't even be here. They wouldn't even be trying to come to this country or anywhere else. They would be back home proudly if they were truly proud to be Africans and stuff. Okay. They would work on building up their homeland, fixing it up. But they don't like each other either. That's why they can't come together and do anything. They talk about they influence the world, but they don't. People know that's lies. They only want to call themselves us and us call ourselves them so that they can take our achievements and influence and carry on as though We are who we are because of Africans. Ooh, the stupidity of that. Let's move along. That's just so stupid. How they women have more value than a black American women. Really? I don't think we want to go there. What goes on with the women there? 7-year-old girls married off into child sex slavery in disguise of child brides, starting at the age of 7, sold for 2 skinny cows and a can of beans. We don't want to take it there. The women, it's a grape system over there. The women have no rights. It's just despicable. I'm not talking about this part any longer. I can't. It's despicable. How their children are more decent and well behaved than our black American children. Are you kidding? You can't be serious. So that's the mindset of tribal people. They continuously try to challenge you every day, all day. Everything is a challenge. Who got better rights? Ain't that stupid? Like, have you ever? I don't know what I would have said to somebody tomorrow. Jollof rice is. They had that at the Essence Fair. Jollof rice is better than jambalaya rice. What the fuck? What? Who braid hair the best? Who sing and dance the best? Who got the most college degrees? You see the stupidity and childishness of it. Yeah. But I am glad to see everything going on, especially in Africa. It's not just happening in America, but it's happening in Africa. Africa is the listen, Africa is what they call that nationalism. I think they call that nationalism when everybody wants immigrants out of their country because this stuff has been going on around the world. It's even happening in Asian countries too. Like Japan had kicked out a lot of the different Asian people, the Koreans and stuff that went there. And they were saying that no, y'all taking the jobs that belong to our youth and we can't have this go on anymore. So they kicked a lot of them out of their country. So it's not a racial thing. I think it's what you call a national thing where people is kicking out a lot of immigrants that flood their country and take jobs and stuff that's for the citizens of that country. South Africa, I've been seeing them on the news heavily trying to kick out different um, and that's not racism. That's nationalism. I would call that nationalism. You have to look out for your own citizens before you can. It just don't make no sense. It equals stupidity if you have a country and you are catering more to cheap labor because that's what it's all about. To be honest with you, you catering more to cheap labor, putting your citizens out of work, putting your productive citizens out of work in I mean, that's stupid. And so they getting rid of this stuff all around the world. It's not just happening in America. It's happening heavily in the UK as well. They're kicking out a lot of immigrants. People sending people back to their homeland to go back and build their own countries and whatever because they citizens need these jobs. And I agree in America it's good that people are going to be able to go out there and work and make real money. They're not going to be considered cheap labor, so they're going to have to pay these people the real deal. Okay, American citizens going to be paid the real deal, okay, with some benefits and perks in there too. And so they're going to be paying very good, and a lot of people is definitely going to go get them jobs, baby. Oh yes, people getting their resumes together and stuff. And let me tell you, I told you they have 1 second. Okay, it's taking a little long. So people are going to go get those jobs and be happy working those jobs and benefits and all of that. They're gonna be happy, honey. They don't have that much competition. I mean, people are gonna be happy. So that's a wonderful thing that people gonna have jobs to go get. Every citizen deserves to be able to work in a country that they are, you know, the country of their origin. So yeah, I think it's great. South Africa is doing the same thing. Those people are pleading with their government officials to stop the nonsense of cheap labor and give the jobs to the citizens who deserve it, of course. And yeah, it's a big showdown all around the world with this immigration thing. It's not just America. It's all in Europe and everything. They're sending people back home. So yeah. Yeah, I say in about 5 years, whew, they're gonna be sent a lot of people back home, you know? So yeah. So that's the wrap up. I don't really have anything else I want to touch up on. I told you that we should not trust our FBA celebrities as voices for us because Pan Africans are definitely paying these people, flipping these people with the dollar to be the middleman. When I say be the middleman, Pan Africans are like, for instance, Queen Latifah, the Richie Lou Dennis guy who bought Essence. He paid her. He invested in her company, her production company. I think it's called In Living Color. He invested 20 million into her company for her to come into business with him and be the representation of ADOS FBA, Foundational Black American Women, because he's going after the women and he's using her to draw in the women. Okay, so when they sign with her and all this, thinking they're doing business with her and all this and all that, he's at the top of the pyramid owning the companies. He's going to be the back in the companies, funding them and buying them out. He's going to be owning all. He's trying to build a powerhouse of Black American women with some other um, women of the Afrocentric and diaspora included, a powerhouse of women. I mean, that's a smart way to do it, but when you're not a Pan African, you don't care to be Pan African, no, thank you. So they didn't snapped up Ciara the singer. She flew over there talking about she got citizenship. That would be really something if Trump said everybody with double citizenship, your allegiance is dual, so you need to get on up out of here. What's the purpose of having another citizenship somewhere? I'm trying to figure that out. Let me see. Shit. I mean, it's dual allegiance, and I don't see the, like I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So she over there representing and using her platform to work for Pan Africans and promote Pan Africanism to get Black American ADOS FBA people to come to that country as well. And Spike Lee, he's one of them. Listen, these people have been paid. When I say he invested 20 million into Queen Latifah's production company, invest my butt. He gave her 20 million. He paid her 20 million to join his Pan African stuff. And she might not be aware of what he truly is deeply about. She might not even understand he Pan African, but some of these people just don't know how deep Pan Africanism go. So they collecting up foundational Black American celebrities to represent their movement to draw in foundational Black Americans using these famous. You could never follow behind celebrities because they're easily flipped by the dollar. I told you, I don't know if you guys heard this or if it cut off by the time I was saying this, but when it comes to celebrities, they have to maintain a lifestyle, honey. They buy these mansions, and you know what? Utilities and water in a mansion is hella crazy. They're not getting acting jobs anymore or finding work like talking about it. And then somebody come up and be like, I'm gonna give you 1 million if you promote this to your people with your platform. It's that simple. They got bills to pay and a lifestyle to maintain. They're gonna do it. That's why you don't listen to celebrities. Let them listen to us, the grassroots organizers that's on the ground. Get in your communities and organize. That's what you do. You don't follow no celebrities. Organize and let your people speak who you choose to speak for you. They have content creators like that too, easily flipped by the dollar. Here, let me give you some coins. You might be thinking they give him 100,000. They ain't give him nothing but 10,000. Now he on a platform pushing. He go from Pan Africanism to FBA. He FBA all day, every day, 24 hours a day. Look over his shoulder. I don't know if you guys heard me talking about this, but look over his shoulder, and he not married to no FBA anyway. So we know that you just talking. But I'm paying African all day long, 24/7. Not 7 days a week, all that. But then you jump into Pan African. Oh no, you can't boycott. You can't boycott Africans only. You're gonna have to boycott Asians and white people too. Yeah, you just been paid some coins, sir. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. We hear your mouth. Cha-ching. So you go from all this FBA boycott, 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 to the next video being we can't just boycott Africans, we gotta boycott all of them, including white people and stuff and all that. Ciao. Again, some people get on here, it's a hustle, y'all. Remember that? Do remember some people get on here as a hustle. They don't get on here and speak from the heart. They just be hustling. Whatever is trending, that's what they jump on and ride the wave. And it's a hustle. And some people actually get on here, they genuinely speak from the heart. Genuine. And some don't. All right. So I think I touched upon everything I wanted to talk about. Keep your eyes open. Know when somebody is flipped by the dollar or the coins. Cha-ching, you'll see the movement. You'll see the actions. They go from this to this, from this to this. They ride the trending topics heavily. All right. They will backtrack on you real quick for them coins. Cha-ching, cha-ching. That's all you hear coming out their mouth. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. Let me see if I have some comments in this particular section before I leave. So my other stream cut off in the middle of the live stream. I have no idea why. Share your referral link. Hold on. On stage. What was I saying? It cut off in the middle of my live stream, and I don't know why, but this would be a part 2 to the first topic. I don't even know what this topic reads because I just went into another stream. But anyways, Miss Chantell she'll come back again and talk about some more stuff. There's some more topics I've been adding to the list to discuss. And yeah, so like and share, drop a comment, let me know what you think about the comment, the commentary. And it's good night for tonight. Y'all have a good night. And I'll come back later on and talk about some more stuff later, okay? All right, good night.